So again, welcome everyone. We are over the 100 mark. Kind of use that as my cue to get started. And so as we, get rolling, other people will make it into the room. And so we welcome all of those people. But I'm going to go ahead and start getting busy here. All right. So again, my name is 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣. It is a pleasure to be here once again, hosting these webinars for all of you good people. And yeah, we're going to dive straight into it. Today, we are just doing an overall review, try to get people up to speed about what's going on, because we do have a lot of new people on the call. We want to make sure that we are able to give a, an account of how things work, right? We'll go through, I'll even go through my own account. And, I like to actually just do it off the cuff. I'm going to go into my back office, go to the instructions tab, run through the instructions, which all of you have available, and that you can then follow along if you'd like to. Obviously, you have my screen. It's being shared with you, so you don't really need to actually follow along on your own computer. But I'll run through all those points, but it is always available that you can use it to explain this to other people. And we do have PDF files and things like that in various languages. So we will, drop that in the chat box, so all of you all have that at your disposal to share with people, because, yeah, having the, the material offline is great to be able to use too. So you can send files to other people and all that. So, all right, let me go ahead and cut my camera off here and get rolling and get right into this overall webinar. So again, we have this fine vehicle ahead of us here, FORSAGE, which again is a decentralized smart contract, right? AKA DApp, decentralized application. And it allows for us to be able to earn 24 hours a day in a way that no one is able to get in the way of us earning our money, right? Because the payments are instantaneous once they, pass through the, in terms of the blockchain, that, this is a smart contract written on the Ethereum blockchain. And, the payments are relatively quick. Some people experience slightly longer times than others, but ultimately you get that money right away. It's not centralized, right? The whole thing about decentralized is that we have a system that, well, you're not funneling money into one centralized location, right? It's a peer-to-peer situation where the money goes directly into the appropriate wallet that it should go to, right? Whether it's your partner, whether it's your hire partner, and so on and so forth. But we're going to talk about all that right quick. So let's do it. All right, let me click through this first page. Oh yeah, as per usual, as tradition, I like to show people this big pile of cash that we've earned thus far. So we are at 19.6. It's probably 19.7 Ethereum earned thus far, $1 million worth of Ethereum rather. And again, this thing is it's a rolling train that is seeing no signs of slowing down. So make sure that you all are well aware, that this thing, we started off, I remember when we crossed over the 1 million mark, and then the 2 million mark, and then the 3, and then it's just kind of gotten exponential, and it's going faster and faster. So we're almost at $20 million. It could happen tonight. Ethereum right now is 206 per Ethereum. Ethereum could easily, move up a little bit, right? Let's say it goes to 210. It could easily happen tonight, and that'll put us over, $200 million worth of Ethereum earned. So beautiful progress that we are making. All right, so what I am going to do is show a quick video. Let me get my volume levels up right to make sure that the volume is coming through so everyone can hear it. And this is just going to give an overall idea about how a smart contract works. So let's just let this video play. I like to do this to give people that visual representation, some animated visual with a little voiceover. All right, so we'll let it roll.
What is a smart contract? A smart contract is an electronic contract registered in the form of a program code that independently executes the actions laid down in it, depending on the given conditions. A smart contract can't be changed after uploading to the blockchain network. A smart contract can perform any operations laid down in it in advance automatically, without human intervention. Example: car purchase and sale transaction. The buyer transfers the entire amount for the car to the address of the smart contract. From now on, the deal can be considered open. The contract code stipulates the conditions that the contract will transfer this amount to the seller's wallet only when the buyer is appointed as the owner of this car in the electronic database. Such a transaction will be considered successful, and both parties to the transaction will receive what they wanted. If something goes wrong, and the transaction period goes beyond the agreed framework, the amount will be returned to the buyer's wallet. During the transaction, both the buyer and the seller had a guarantor, in the form of an invisible assistant, a smart contract. The contract didn't take a penny for its service, and completed it quickly, safely, and as transparently as possible for everyone. Project advantages based on smart contracts. The main advantage of projects based on smart contracts is that the conditions are predefined and can't be changed. Anyone can see the code on which the smart contract is written. The code is in the public domain and contains all the conditions and details, like any paper contract. The next advantage is an almost unlimited duration. A verified smart contract exists as long as the blockchain in which it is loaded exists. And finally, is autonomy. Smart contracts don't require intermediaries. All operations between process participants are performed automatically, without the participation of an administrator. What is the difference between a project based on the smart contract and various hypes and projects with a common cash desk? As you already know, one of the conditions for a project to work on a smart contract is its autonomy and immutability. And the role of the administrator is only to write the working conditions of this smart contract and upload it to the network. Further, the interaction between the participants of this project takes place without the participation of the administrator, and it can't affect the movement of ETH coins between the participants' wallets, since the contract can only perform predefined functions in its code and nothing more. That is, if it is written in the smart contract code that the currency is sent from the wallet of the first user to wallet of the second user, then this is what happens. In projects, in which you transfer your coins to the administrator's wallet, and then wait for the accrual of passive income in percent, most often huge, which means that with a very high probability these percentages can only be received for a short period. You risk that the administrator will disappear at some point along with your coins, and coins of other participants. Or by the fact that the claimed huge percentage will very quickly deplete the general cash desk, administrator's wallet, and payments will also stop. In both cases, you will lose what you invested in this project. Now compare the conditions for participation in projects on smart contracts, and the conditions for participation in projects with a common cash desk. And make a decision for yourself in which projects, and on what conditions you want to participate. I add that projects on smart contracts have a different principle for the distribution of coins.
All right, good people. That is how it works. All right, so let me click this off here and we'll get to the next slide. All right, so the thing of it is, there were a couple of points that were made, several points that were made about what a smart contract is. Okay, now, one of the most beautiful things is that it cannot be changed. All right, the developers, they can't go in there and decide that they want to switch around the way that the matrices play out in the way that they cycle, and just many of the different functions that make this thing work. Again, it's autonomous. There isn't any need for someone to go in there and continue to do these things manually or to make the withdrawals manually. This is happening all the time, several times per second. Many of the transactions are taking place, and so on and so forth. So it is a very, very beautiful system to know that we have this matrix marketing system that allows us really to build a business and to purchase these income streams, which we'll get into right quick. And they are set on autopilot. Again, yes, there is some groundwork that needs to be laid. We got to lay down the bricks, so to speak. And once that is established, we're on a perpetual income system, right? And again, this is what is so needed right now, because a lot of people are very much feeling the strain of, financial, burden right now, because many people have lost their jobs. Many people are just in a position where they're just not able to, make the type of money or any money at all, right, that they would normally be used to for their livelihood. So you've got to understand that, it is certainly something that you don't want to take lightly, to take action, to not, dilly-dally, as they say, with this beautiful system. All right. So, but anyways, some things to note. Again, we are having to use Trust Wallet, which actually many people who already have the Trust Wallet, that's the mobile version. Something that we are going to bring up, and I'll show another option, because Trust Wallet, apparently Apple, as you all know, I take that back. It is on both Android and Apple, but apparently with iOS, the iOS version, they are going to be, with the newest update that's coming out next month, they're taking away the 𝙏𝙝 browser system. Yes, you'll still have access to your money, but of course we want to make sure that people understand that, and that there will be another, and that there are other 𝙏𝙝 browser options to use. But anyways, so that's mobile. And of course with MetaMask, which I'll show right quick as well when we get into the overview of the system, but that it is the PC version of, these are applications. Trust Wallet and MetaMask are considered applications to interact with the smart contract. You do need that to sign up. Okay, you can't even sign up without these applications, right? There's specific applications that you need to target and to interact, again, with the smart contract. And again, we are working with Ethereum, as I already pointed out, the beautiful triangle, upside down and right side up triangle. It is the second most popular, per market cap out there, right? So it's the second most popular cryptocurrency, and it's not going anywhere. It's not one of these, as they call it, poo-poo coins that doesn't have any value. It certainly has. It's actually way undervalued. All right. So I think that people want to not, don't sleep on this. So let's get into the actual system, and I'll back out of here, and let me bring my menu down out of the way so I can see the tabs here at the top. Now I'm going to actually go into my account first from a view mode only. All right. Now what that means is, that I could type in, you can see this already auto-populates, as some of the numbers that I've put in have already gone in there, but you can put either an Ethereum address or the member ID into this position here. Okay. And then now you click viewing. It's gone through a few different versions, but anyways, though, this particular version that we have here now says viewing, and it has gotten cleaner, I have to admit, right? We are, as Lotto, I don't know if he's on the call yet. John, you can let me know. I can make him co-host. But anyways, though, so they have gone through different versions. But again, this is what this is. You go into a view mode only when you put in the account. So I'll look at my account in full disclosure, because we can look at anyone's account from the very first account to the very last person who signed up, the 147th, 655th person, if we wanted to look at that. All right, so this is my account. I've got 10,000 plus in here. I'm not doing too bad. I've earned that in the last little less than 3 months. I think I'm at 2 months and maybe 3 weeks, something like that. But again, this is a again, let me just get into, first of all, like I said, this is view mode, as I was saying before. To finish that point, as you can see, there's an eyeball here that represents view mode. You can see it even says view mode right there. So please make sure to pay attention to that for people, or to mention that to maybe your prospects or other people who have just joined the system and they don't realize that they're in the view mode. Because what will happen is, when you want to try to, I'll do this because this is the thing that happens most commonly. And I'm already here on this 9th level on my X3, but for example, if this were the basket, because you do need to click on the basket to upgrade, I'm just going to show that right quick, that you'll get this message. We get this all the time. What's going on? Why can't I see, why can't I upgrade? Well, because as you see, it says purchase in view mode is not available. Please log in with your Ethereum wallet, okay? Meaning that you would need to sign in with your MetaMask, which I'll do that here in a second. But you can use the back office like this to do most of the things and see most of the things that you want to see, right? If you want, which we're going to go through today a little bit. And we won't go too deep into the back office because there are a lot of different things, but maybe during the Q&A, if we have enough time, we'll see how far we can go into that. But this is enough for me to go over the instructions where you can see the tabs up here. There are drop-down menus that, you know, on the office here, you can see the main panel, which is what I'm on. This could be considered your dashboard view. The partners, statistics, and a goal, you know, that you can set for yourself right there to kind of keep an eye on, you know, where you are with your, you know, a goal that you might set for yourself. Also, again here, the instructions are under the information. They will likely be adding other bits of information, but for right now, it only has instructions. And of course, you could log out. This is where you would need to log out, right? You can see that highlights with the line underneath to log out, right? Which I will need to do. I have to log out if ever I want to go to another account, or if I want to be able to sign into my own account, or again, you know, you do have to back out. So just keep that in mind in the event that you are going to want to start to take action. So yeah, let's go ahead and go right into these instructions. All right, because I'm already roughly, well, after all the talking in the beginning, now we're probably about 20 minutes into the presentation. So let's talk about it. All right, so how FORSAGE works, right? It is a matrix marketing system. It is something that I want to be sure that people understand, that this isn't a solely passive income platform. A lot of people come in here and they're asking like, hey, can I just, because they get a person who's told them like, hey, just come on in and, you know, you don't have to do anything. You can just join my team and we'll do all the work for you and you just make money. Just all you got to do is just pay me, right? There's more to it than that. Okay, I want to be sure people understand that there are two sides, right? You do have an active side where you do bring in referrals actively, right? That they get placed underneath you. On X3, you can see there's 3 positions underneath. And on X4, there's actually 6 positions, right? That would be considered a top row and a bottom row, right? Now, the way that that works, again, is that, you know, people come in, they fill up the positions and they cycle, boom, 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 and then it cycles, all right? Now, yes, you do have a link, right? We all know about the affiliate link, which I'll scroll down and show here. This is where, I'm sorry, you can find your affiliate link to use to sign people up, right, into X3. Now, they do come into both sides. For example, you know, when someone uses a link that they then sign up, you know, they use their 0.05 Ethereum, that will actually open up both of these income slots, but only the first time. Okay, that doesn't happen the second time or the third time. It's only once do you come in, well, when you come in, that the income stream 1 is opened up simultaneously on X3 and X4. All right, now again, these expiration dates, or rather there is no expiration, okay? In terms of these cycles or these income streams, they are continual and they don't expire. For example, if you were to buy a package, you know, with some other income, you know, let's say income opportunity where they say like, hey, you got to buy a 90-day package and then it expires and then you got to purchase a new one. Well, once you purchase these, they are yours for the life of the blockchain. All right, that literally is true. All right, now, but anyhow, on X4, keep in mind, like I said, that there are 2 rows, and it's what's considered the team build. And yes, spillover does happen here. Okay, now we will talk about spillover, but again, I do want to emphasize, and I emphasize it more and more because we have more and more people who have, obviously we're almost at 50,000, 150,000 members. Many people are coming in completely blind about how this thing works, and they hear about spillover. They know that word. They're like, spillover, that means that I don't have to do anything. Well, again, spillover is a byproduct of team building, whether it's you building the team or whether it is your, you know, other people around you who are above you, your upline or your downline that are building the team, right? And again, based on the way the X4 works, it actually cycles through partners, right? With X3, you're always directly linked to your sponsor, right? With that reference link or your affiliate link. On the X4, it actually cycles through partners, which would be considered your higher partners, right? So let's go down to the slots and look at these different slots, right? Because essentially you have 24 income stream opportunities. All right, that's literally what's going on. A lot of people have already, and I do say a lot, I mean, there are a good amount of people out of this 150,000 people that we have already that have registered that have opened up all of their income streams, right? So they ultimately have 24 income streams working for them, whether they're sleeping, whether they're eating, whether they're sitting there at the desk. In fact, I just had a payment come in that I just saw as I'm doing this interview. It comes depending on, first of all, that you would need to open these income slots, right? Based on purchasing and upgrading them. All right. Now, again, as you can see, that it goes 1 through 12, right? And it is in chronological order because you do need to upgrade in chronological order. And each one, as you can see, starting from the very first income slot, which is 0.025, the second income slot is double that, and the third is double that. So each income slot is double what the previous income slot was prior to it. All right, that's just the way that it works, and it's set in stone. And it's the same thing here on X4, as you can see that with the different positions underneath the income slots. But the income values are exactly what they are above on the X3, and you do need to purchase them in order chronologically. Now, the other thing to note is that, well, I mean, again, like I said, when you come into these, like I said, to begin with, you know, you do purchase both income stream 1 and on X3 and on X4 at the same time, right? And again, as I said, yes, you do need to purchase them chronologically. So again, you can't jump over, for example, to income stream 5 without purchasing these income streams in between. A lot of times people are like, hey, can I just go ahead and open up income stream 8, or I'm sorry, 6, and make 0.8 Ethereum? You can, but you would actually need to purchase these, you know, in sequence. All right, so be sure that you're aware of that, and ultimately, that's how, you know, these are done, right? And again, as far as moving through them, it does need to happen individually with respect to purchasing the income streams after you've come in. And the registration, as you can see, it's 0.05. We already talked about that. You can see here the split. Okay, the illustration shows that that is actually split into 0.025 into X3 and 0.025 that goes into X4. And yeah, that ultimately is that, right? The registration, we all have to come in the same way. A more kind of clear breakdown of the way X3 works. Again, you can see that there's 3 positions underneath the income stream. On position 1, as you can see, these blue dots represent income that is going directly to you instantaneously. Again, there's no having to go in here to the platform to manually withdraw from the user interface. No, you don't. Okay, that happens instantaneously when a partner comes in. Just like I said, for example, you know, a payment just came in. I couldn't look at it. You know, obviously, I'm doing the Zoom call, but I saw because I have my Telegram notification bot on. And so I noticed, you know, again, that a payment did come in, and it happens instantaneously. I don't have to manually do that. And again, on the third position, at least of the X3, you can see that's where the recycle happens. This could be considered your money, and it is, but you also, and as everyone else is required to do, it's automatically done. It's used to reactivate that income slot. All right, so that happens for all the way through to the 12th income slot. All right, and it will again fall into once it goes up, it'll fall into the appropriate income slot of your, in this case, your direct sponsor. Now, if it happens to fall into their last position, that actually would cycle up to their sponsor. Okay, and that's just the way that this works, right? You can see the boom that goes there, boom that would actually go there to them, and again, if it comes into that third position, then it would happen to go up to their sponsor, and so on. So it fills in the appropriate open position. And so obviously, likewise for you, when you have referrals come in, when they recycle, if it comes in, you know, it could come into position 1, position 2, and so on. But again, in that third position, it's going to recycle. All right, that's the way the recycles work. X4, again, considered a top row and a bottom row. On the top row, you can see these arrows inside of the circles that represent a higher partner, which doesn't always mean it's your direct partner. Yes, it oftentimes can be and will be your direct partner, But the higher partner also is meaning that the payment is going up to potentially anyone in the system, and usually staying within the framework of your team. But yes, these do cycle out to partners sometimes who, let's say you might be a number that's very, that one of the first numbers in the system. And then even for someone who's not in your direct, let's say, referral line or whatever the case is, it could be, one of the people who are, let's say, 90,502. And then, that might happen in that way, that payment that would fall in that first row would actually go to that person. So even someone who comes in late, my point being that someone who comes in late, if they have opened up that particular income stream, then a payment as it comes in here on your first row, it might actually go up to them, right? So people who come in late actually benefit, again, depending on if they had this income slot open, and just again, through the variation and the variety of how people, whether they upgrade or whether they don't upgrade, and so on and so forth, whether you're in the queue or in that particular cycle or not. But again, after that, on the 3 positions here, those are payments that do go directly to you. Okay, so it's kind of color coded and corresponds to the fact that those blue goes to blue, all right? And on the last position, it does recycle and go up again to a higher partner. So that's how X4 works. Reinvest, I've pretty much already explained it. Obviously, the last position, it recycles. It happens automatically. You don't have to do it yourself. End of story. Not too much more to talk about. Yeah, so let's come on down to the upgrade. And things to note, because you can see here, I already talked about the shopping cart basket, which is like the, and of course, when you hover your mouse over it on the actual dashboard, it'll pop up and kind of bounce, right? Indicating that you could purchase it. The other baskets won't even bounce because you're not able to purchase them. The only one that will bounce is the one that you're able to purchase. Now, something to note, of course, when you get in your first 2 payments, okay, for any income slot, let's say I was on income slot 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, the first 2 positions, right, that you can see here under any income slot on X4 as well, that is and happens to be enough to upgrade to the next position. And I highly advise you do it, right? Because again, if you don't, what happens is after the first cycle, if you haven't upgraded, your income slot will actually go into a holding pattern. Now that only happens on the income slot previous to the one that you haven't purchased, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 will remain open and will not stop. They don't go into a holding pattern. They cannot go into a holding pattern. But the one previous to the upgrade, right? If you haven't upgraded after the first cycle, right, then you'll actually get this arrow. I always call it arrow. It's a triangle that has an exclamation mark, and your income slot will go into a holding pattern. All right. Now this has happened several times to many people because for whatever their own reasons, and again, you're not obligated per se to purchase the next income slot, but you effectively shut down your income slot previous to the one that needs to be upgraded to. All right, so I hope I make that clear. I'll re-explain it again for people who have specific questions about it. But ultimately, just don't play around in the beginning with those payments, right? Once you've used them, you upgrade to the next slot, then that number 8 position will always stay open, okay? And then so the same would happen here on the 9th position or 9th slot, right? Once those fill up, you would want to use the first 2 payments that come in to go ahead and upgrade to the 10th position, for example, okay? And again, the way it looks, if you've lost profit, you'll see in the statistics, you could actually click on the triangle, which will also appear. Let me scroll up here and show. You'll see if you've actually missed a payment, it'll show up here. You can click on it and it'll show in a statistical way where people have missed payments. I'll show a few examples of that, but ultimately you'll see, hopefully you don't see a long line of these, but what it will look like is a circle with a white minus sign, meaning that that's some profit that you've lost. Simple as that. All right. And again, if you earn that, okay, had you happen to be the person who earns that income, because what would happen in a case where also too you can be overtaken by your referrals, right? So if you have someone who's below you and you haven't upgraded to that income position, right? Then if they decide that they want to upgrade to that position, either because, you know, they have their own referrals who are hot on their tail and ready to upgrade, so they don't want to miss profit, so they go ahead and upgrade, right? If you don't upgrade before they do, then effectively you have no rights to be paid on that income slot. All right. So again, you can be overtaken if you haven't purchased the income slot, you know, like for example, this number 9 before your referral does. All right. So definitely something important to note. Yes, you effectively will miss all the recycle payments every time that, you know, partners come through for your referrals. If they have, you know, that last position filled, normally it would go up to you. As we've already shown, it recycles and then you get the payment for it. But again, if you haven't purchased that income slot, I cannot stress enough, people are doing this and making this mistake all the time. You do not get income. You're not entitled to get income. But if you do purchase that income slot, boom, it's yours. You have full rights to it for the life of the blockchain, right? It's ultimately how it works. And again, if you've actually received payment, right, it'll be as a purple or a pink circle. We can see here, this example here, it'll look like this on the X3. You can see it also a pink circle as well, meaning that that's an overflow, or not an overflow, but someone who basically overtook their partner. And in the statistics line, it'll look like this, a box with a bow. Again, the overflow, you can see there's a variety of different colored circles, from this teal to this light gray looking or blue, and then you have a darker blue, and then that purple or pink circle. Okay, now again, these just represent either your own personal, because on X4, as you can see, this is an X4 example that they're showing, because the overflow only happens on X4, right? So spillover, again, only happens, or overflow, whatever you'd like to call it, but ultimately that's only going to happen here in this position. Now these circles or these positions, they can be filled with your own referrals, right? You might have four referrals that come in and fill up these positions, and then you might only have one spillover, right? That happens all the time. Or you might have a combination of, you have several spillover and only one referral, right? Or in some cases, people have a complete fill up of their X4 positions purely from spillover from above and from below, right? Now, that ultimately concludes the instructions. And yeah, let me talk about a few other points before we go into the Q&A. I'm not going to do too much of a deep dive until the Q&A, because I'm sure some points will come up. People will always ask more specific questions about the spillover. It's guaranteed. That's just how it goes, I know, at this point. I don't know how many Zoom calls I've done now at this point. Myself and John, who's always been right here with me, we're into the 30-something Zoom calls over the last few months that we've been doing it. So again, MetaMask, you will need MetaMask to interact. For new people who don't know, it looks like this. This is where you can download it. If you click on that, you'll see the option to either put it on Chrome, Firefox, or Brave browser. It's real simple to do. Again, once you click onto it, for the respective browser that you're using, it'll look like this. I'm using Chrome, so it looks like this. I already have it installed, so therefore it says remove Chrome as opposed to install. But that is pretty much it. Now there, as you can see, a video, it goes through an introduction. I'm not going to play the video right now. You can do that on your own time. But that is ultimately, this is where you're going to need to get your MetaMask, again, before you're able to even use someone's link, for example, to be able to interact with the contract and to create your account with FORSAGE. Now I'll click on Token Pocket because with Trust Wallet, again, and I guess actually I take this back again because I am using iOS. So in my mind, Trust Wallet isn't going to be working anymore, but it will continue to work for Android devices. And most people have Android devices, but the Trust Wallet, in fact, let me go ahead and type it in for people who, again, have Android devices, but they have not yet used it or set up their Trust Wallet. But this is what it looks like. Very simple, very clean interface. And, ultimately, once you set it up, again, it allows you to interact with the contract. Here's where the browser is. As you can see where I'm circling my mouse, it's that second to the left icon there. This is where the settings is. You can click on that to get to your wallet. and you can even actually, if I were able to click on this, which I can't because it's a PC, obviously I'm on, but you would be able to even add wallets, right? But yeah, when you first install it, the first thing you'll see is how to set up your wallet. And please, 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 do not give your 12-word key phrase to people asking for it. I can't tell you how many people have been scammed because they're just totally brand new. They hop in some Telegram group, or someone DMs them. Unfortunately, there's people even slithering through the FORSAGE, members, and they're sifting to try to find people who are new, because a lot of people, they ask questions and they show their naivete, and then someone seeks them out, right? They're looking to ask them, hey, let me get your 12-word key phrase because I want to help you. I want to help fix your, no, what they're trying to do is if they get your 12-word key phrase, they can drain your wallet. It's as simple as that, right? So it's just like, you do not give the keys away to your house when someone says, hey, can I have the keys to your house? I promise I'll keep them safe. No, you keep your keys to yourself, be smart. There's that. So again, with the 12-word key phrase, sorry to be so stern, but I'm just so tired of seeing people get hurt and scammed, out of their money. And likewise with MetaMask, again, when you set it up, you will get a 12-word key phrase. Make sure you put that to the side. Preferably, as they recommend, do not, take a picture of it with your phone or anything like that. Write it down. Don't be lazy. It's 12 words. Tuck it away in a shoebox if you need to. Put it somewhere, where you've got your little trinkets and items that you like to keep safe. All right, so there's that. And then there is Token Pocket, which will be a option for iPhone users that you can use this. Now this is showing because it is available for Android devices, but it's also available for iOS as well. Okay, I just happened to be looking at the that I already pulled up, but the Android device. Now the on-ramp, how do I get money, right? How do I get money into my Ethereum wallet? Well, there's a variety of ways. You can actually even buy it from through the Trust Wallet and or MetaMask. But there, of course, are other options like Coinbase. If you're in the United States, you can do that. Also, Coinbase is available in Canada and most countries in Europe. And it's also not available in a lot of places. So, check your local listings, so to speak. And we'll put something there in the chat box. John probably already has for a variety of places within local regions, even from country to country. I think that list even shows a lot of specific countries that you can purchase, cryptocurrency to. Then once you purchase it, you essentially send it from that particular app or whatever that wallet is into your MetaMask, which again, or your Trust Wallet, which again is what you'll have your FORSAGE account connected to. Okay. And yeah, Luno is another one. Okay. I'm just kind of breezing through just to show some options, right? You can buy, they do have KYC, which is it's an acronym for Know Your Customer. Revolut is another one. It's an app that allows you to also get a card. But again, you can't actually load cryptocurrency onto the card. The way that it works is that with the app, you can connect your banking card to that particular app, and you can buy cryptocurrency to then, if you wanted to, you can have it stored on the device and then, send it to, for example, MetaMask to then fund your FORSAGE, or fund your MetaMask to then purchase and register and upgrade and so on in the FORSAGE account. Now, crypto.com is another becoming more and more popular all the time. This is a place where, actually let me close this out. But you can, it's an exchange as well, buy and sell. And they also actually allow you to buy cryptocurrency, using the app, just like with Revolut. You can see there, you click on that button and it'll take you into some options to essentially, add a debit card. Again, similar to what I was saying about Revolut, to be able to then buy your cryptocurrency. Actually, I have a video of a landing page. I showed this on one of the last calls. I think it was last Saturday. That was already queued up. Let me show. This was one of the top earners of FORSAGE, but he did a brief video here to kind of show people. So I'm just going to queue up and show just maybe 20 seconds or so people can kind of see, in real time what it would look like.
And then it's going to be super easy, your crypto wallet. So you're going to your account, step by step how to do it. Once you're inside, you're going to see under accounts, your crypto wallet. So you're going to find Ethereum in your crypto wallet, and then it's going to be super easy for you to go and buy Ethereum. So you click on, this is what I bought a little bit earlier. You click on this button, buy, okay? And essentially a pop-up window like this will show up, and you can add a credit card or debit card right here. I already added mine.
All right, so I'll just stop it there, but you get the idea. And again, you can do more research on that on your own, so we don't drag this call out too much. But yeah, so a lot of different ways to be able to do that. Another thing people are asking, you know, this is an option, and there are other Visa debit cards where you can load cryptocurrency onto it and spend it like you would with your regular banking debit card. Okay, for example, this is one that I am using, Block Card. It's available, I know, particularly in the United States right now, and they have been for over a year, maybe even 2 years, and they are branching into Europe. But you know, with the Corona situation, they did have to dial back their schedule with respect to, you know, getting regulators to sign off on various things with compliance that they needed to do. But it will be available in 31 European countries. So this is an option. You know, you can even register. I already have people who've registered using, because I have a, you know, of course you can have an affiliate link, who've signed up and they've registered, and they're kind of just waiting to be able to use the financial services that this offers, but allows you to then, you know, send in variety, you know, I've sent in money, right? Ethereum, it is converted into their native coin, which is called Etherscan. And then you can use it, right? Either at an ATM to withdraw, or online, and you get a virtual card as well, and so on and so forth. And last thing that I'll touch on here before we go into the Q&A is the Exodus wallet, which I highly recommend. You know, it just gives you flexibility with respect to holding a variety of cryptocurrencies. In fact, I think I even have mine open, but there's a desktop version and a mobile version. So I'll click on mine here. Hopefully I'm not showing too much sensitive information. Got a little bit of money in here. Let me click on my home. And, you know, as you can see, this is where it kind of shows you the overall. It gives you some different graphing points and data points and things like that. And what else? The thing that I really want to show to you know, illustrate to people is that you can exchange cryptocurrency here very easily, as you can with a lot of other things. But the user interface on this one is just, it's unparalleled. I mean, they have such a fine, smooth user experience. But again, you can convert to a variety. If you have Bitcoin and you want to convert it into whatever it might be, you can easily do that, as you can see all the different options. And that, again, allows you to actually own the private keys, right? Because if you, for example, have an account on Coinbase or some other exchange like Binance or whatever it might be, storing your cryptocurrency there is not advised, because, again, they actually own the keys to your crypto wallet, whatever it might be, Ethereum, Chainlink, Monero, and then you aren't actually in possession of your keys. All right. So we still got about 130 people on the call. Let's go ahead and get into the Q&A. I'm sure we've got some questions. I'll open up the chat box, and I guess John has probably already answered a lot of these questions, but
chat box issues are already answered. Just 4 people raising their hands.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and get into it. And for people who have those, immediate questions, now is the time to raise your hand and ask them, and we'll try to get through as many as we can. We just crossed over. No, we haven't even hit an hour yet, so pretty good on getting through all that information.